Okay, everyone, let's just very quickly settle into your meditation posture. I'm going to try and get through quite a bit today. Morning, Coral. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Karen. Okay. So let's just very quickly go through your meditation posture. Just check your feet, your legs, spine, shoulders over the hips, ears aligned with the shoulders, and just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and out through the top. Just excuse me a minute, I'm going to adjust the gain. And you can imagine somebody's there behind you, very gently lengthening your spine upward. Head is slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, relax the jaw, and bring the mind to the breath. So let's just very quickly relax the rest of the body, the scalp, the forehead, eyes, the cheeks. The back of the head, the scalp at the back of the head, and relax the ears, the neck, the shoulders, and the throat and the chest. Arms, hands, fingers, legs, feet, and the toes. And if your hands aren't in the meditation mudra, you can put them there or not. And bring the mind to the breath. And just think we're going to use this meditation this morning to help support our practice, our study, our meditation, and create merit as we move on the path to enlightenment, and for all sentient beings, for all the people in our life. So I just wanted again to just remind everybody about what we're doing when we're prostrating. So this is from Lama Yeshe. Okay. Lama Yeshe says, making space for wisdom. Why do we make prostrations at the beginning of teaching and meditation sessions? It's to beat down our ego a bit. Egocentric pride looks at things very superficially and never sees the nature of reality. When we prostrate, we're not prostrating to the material objects on the altar, but paying homage to true understanding wisdom. People who have taken Dharma teachings before know this well. I mention it mainly for new students. Prostration isn't just a Buddhist custom. To make sure that giving teachings does not become an ego trip, even great teachers like His Holiness the Dalai Lama will prostrate before they get up on the throne. In fact, to diminish pride and become more grounded in reality, both teacher and student should prostrate before a teaching. Otherwise, there's no space for understanding wisdom. The proud mind is like a desert. Nothing can grow in a mind full of pride. That's why we prostrate toward the altar prior to giving and taking teachings. In our everyday lives, we prostrate to things that are not worthwhile. Of course, we don't say that we're prostrating, but in fact, we are constantly paying homage to our pride and ego. Instead of prostrating to pride and ego, we should prostrate to understanding wisdom. The Tibetan term for prostration is chagsal. In Sanskrit, chag is mudra. The interpretive meaning of mudra is wisdom. Understanding, knowledge, wisdom is the actual mudra. Sal means to bow down before or pay homage or obeisance to something. Therefore, chagsal means to bow down to wisdom. And when we prostrate, our mental attitude should be one that recognizes the harmful nature of egocentric pride and understands that knowledge wisdom is the only worthwhile guide. If you don't have this respectful attitude, you might as well not bow down. If you're not prostrating with your mind, there's no need to prostrate. physically, simply for the sake of show or custom. Tradition is not that important, but if you recognize how your pride functions and prostrate to wisdom instead, that is very effective, and doing so makes prostrating a means of training your mind. So there you go. You're also very much prostrating to your own wisdom. And I really like that because it takes all the kind of like weird Tibetan custom business out of the practice that we do. And we are Westerners, so sometimes people feel uncomfortable with all the little bits and pieces that come along with this tradition. So that was a very practical way Lama Yeshe gave us to think about what we're doing actually when we're prostrating. So now just bring your mind to the breath, just very gently breathing in and breathing out. And this morning we won't do a 9-round breathing, we'll just move into meditation on equanimity. So bring in front of you, just imagine your friend, your beloveds, those you love and those who love you, your friends, the people who support and take care of you, who help you. And the ones that you don't like so much, the ones who irritate you. Maybe they've harmed you. And then perhaps there's people that you are indifferent to. So now to this group of people, you can have one person that you love, put them in front of you, maybe a little bit to the side. One person who really you don't like very much, eyeball to eyeball, right in front of you. And someone you feel indifferent to, you can put them on a little bit to the other side. And try and remember the images of your friend and your enemy and your stranger through the meditation. So first, let's just focus on our friend and ask yourself why you like this person. Perhaps you can recognize your reasons are mainly because of what he or she does for you. And are those good reasons for liking a person and holding them dear? And now look at the person that you don't like very much and examine your reasons for feeling this way. Is your ego involved? So the person may have harmed you, or maybe they behave in ways that you find unacceptable. Maybe you don't like the way they talk, or maybe they're too loud, a little bit offensive. And are those good reasons for disliking someone, mistreating them, wishing them harm? And look at the person that you feel indifferent to. And why do you feel this way? Well, this person has neither harmed nor helped you. Is your ego involved here too? So now think about whether you regard these relationships as permanent. Are you always going to get along with your friend? Will you never get along with your enemy? Will you always be distant from the person you don't know really very well now? So bring to mind past relationships that have changed. Do you have a friend that has become an enemy? a stranger that gradually became a beloved friend, a dear friend. Perhaps you had someone that irritated you or harmed you that became a dear friend. Imagine your friend now in front of you. You can ask the enemy to step to one side. Bring your friend in front. Perhaps they've done something that's hurtful, maybe not acceptable. Would your feelings towards this person change? And recall that this person wasn't your friend before you knew each other. They weren't your friend. And they could very easily cease to be your friend in the future. And realize there is no sound reason for feeling kind and loving only toward the friend of this moment. Because relationships change. They've changed in the past. They will change in the future. And today's friend can become the person who irritates you tomorrow. And sometimes that change happens in a matter of seconds. Okay, now bring your enemy to mind. You can ask the friend to step aside, put the enemy in front of you. And imagine this person doing some kind of helpful thing. Maybe they surprisingly pay you a compliment, or they show some kindness. So imagine you are, so I'd say for the people in New Mexico, you have a lot of long, flat distances. In the winter, highways full of snow, back roads covered full of snow. So imagine you're driving up, perhaps you're going up to Taos or something like that, and your car breaks down. You've got a flat tire, and the dark is coming, and your cell phone is out of range. And so you're there in the middle of the kind of deserted road, snow all around, it's freezing, and you have no way to contact anyone. And along comes your enemy, and very happily, very willingly helps you get your tire back on and get you back on the road. Maybe your feelings now are softening to that person, towards that person. How do they appear to you now? So you can learn to feel warmly towards your enemy. And this has happened before, can happen again. So why on earth hold so strongly to the conception of a person defined as enemy? We grasp onto it, this label. And now what of the stranger? This relationship could go either way, but because we're trying to develop positive feelings towards other, imagine the stranger doing something helpful. Imagine you've gone out shopping. Maybe you had sat down and had a coffee with a friend, and you get home and you realize your purse is missing. And the next thing you know, somebody's knocking on your door. Perhaps they found your driver's license, and they brought everything back to you, your money, your credit cards. What a relief. How does this affect your feelings towards this person? You probably feel incredible gratitude. So if you are able to accept the existence of past and future lifetimes, consider the idea that you have known these three people before, perhaps in other times, in other relationships. Consider that your friend of this lifetime could possibly have been an enemy at some point down the track. Your present enemy, perhaps they were your sister or your mother or your lover in your past life. And the present stranger may have been both friend and enemy. So how does this affect your feelings towards these people now? So we have to try and understand that these relationships are not permanent. A loved one can become an enemy, and vice versa. A stranger can become a friend or an enemy. No one is a friend, a stranger, or an enemy from their own side, independently. They become that way according to how we label them with our mind. So someone you regard as a friend is often regarded, or could be regarded as an enemy by other people. And we all know that. We all have friends like that. And then the enemy. There are actually people who do love that person, who think they're amazing, who care about them, who view that person as their loved one. So therefore, here we are clinging to this idea of these labels and these three types of people in our lives as if they were permanent. So we really need to kind of break down this concrete view we have of people. And also helpful to recognize that in other ways, people are exactly the same. Everybody wants to be happy and does not want problems or pain. Your friend, enemy, and your stranger all want happiness as much as we do, as much as you do. And just like you, they don't want to experience even the smallest of problems. And just like you, they're constantly running into them. And everyone deserves to be happy and peaceful and free from suffering. So just for a moment, really try and bring this idea into your heart. So bring to your mind your friend, your enemy, and stranger again. and think. Another way in which all of us are equal, all beings are equal, is that we have this incredible potential within us to free our mind from negativity, from delusions. We all have the ability to free our minds from anger, hatred, bitterness, attachment, grasping. And we have this potential to develop our mind to its fullest. We can achieve this incredible level of wisdom, intelligence, compassion, clairvoyance. It's all there. We just have to strip away the dirt, get to the shiny jewel at the center of our heart. And everyone can and will become enlightened one day. And the differences that we see in people are superficial. And they're based on our own way of labeling things, our own kind of narrow viewpoint. If our thoughts and our feelings were more in line with reality, we would see that everyone equally deserves our care and our compassion. So none of this means on a practical level that we should not discriminate. In some cases, it's necessary because naturally we are going to feel closest to some people than others. And sometimes it's wise to keep distance from others. This is not a contradiction. The point of meditation is to develop equal concern, equal regard for everyone, whether they harm or help us. At this point in this time, our present mistaken view, our present discrimination is based on arbitrary, mistaken, and very unstable, changeable labels. As Venerable Rabina might say, if you can see someone's coming at you with a hammer or something, you get out of their way. You don't stand around and say, oh, I see you're equally, you have all this ability to become enlightened. No, you get out of their way. But from a distance, this is a training we're trying to bring to our mind. Friend, our enemy, and our stranger in our lifetime, at any time in our lifetime, can change places. And just keep the mind on the breath. A couple more minutes. So now just bring to mind the motivation that we started with and dedicate all the incredibly positive energy that all of you have created this morning to your practice, your study, your meditation, and to your own enlightenment, and dedicate for all the people in your life, your friends, your enemies, and your strangers, and beyond, to all sentient beings. Thank you so much, everyone.